Good afternoon and welcome to Galactic Soul Healing. Today we have another important topic. This is a Sirian oracle still, but the topic is going to be today being in authentic, centered and higher self-power. And also the reading is going to be some hints and tips on how we can allow this to come forth from within us. Okay, now the cards we're going to be using are the Isis Oracle. Okay, really great for divine feminine empowerment. And then we have Gods and Titans by Stacey DeMarco, sort of like divine masculine. And then we have the Starseed Oracle. Okay, Rebecca Campbell. This one is by Alana Fairchild, and this one here is the Wildwood Tarot by Mark, Ryan and John Matthews. Oh, that's the illustrator. Will Worthington. My glasses are not reading that properly. Oh my god. Okay, I'm a little bit rushed today because I need to get this done. So we are going to be doing 2 stacks and of the 4 cards. So we're going to see how they interact. So let's start shuffling. And I'd just like to call in Spirit to assist us with this. As per normal, we kind of need all the help we can get currently as we're raising up in frequency, but there's also new challenges in terms of we're actually needing to love ourselves more and more. We're having to shift our frequency. We're having to give ourselves permission to do the self-care things that we need to do, and that can be a challenge when we have other low frequency vibrations around us that are sort of perhaps trying to convince us otherwise to not look after ourselves. Okay, which sounds crazy, but it's kind of real. Now, right, let me just pop that back there. And oh my god, this is unscripted, folks, and I just really need to get this right, get these stacks shuffled and cut. Now I'd just like to call in my Sirian spirit guides. They've just really strongly directed me to do this reading today as a result of some meditations that I've been doing and other shifts within myself. So thank you. We're going to be looking at authenticity, centeredness, like higher self and power. So it's this whole new concept of what power is. If you have I myself for a long time had not a good relationship with power, okay, which may be related to this life as well as perhaps previous lives. So because basically us little humans, we are very used to being in a disempowered state, and that is often reflective of also how much love we give ourselves, but also it impacts our ability to have a higher purpose within the world that is here for the highest good of all and for the benefit of the highest good of all, as well as for our own highest good. So basically a lot of these shackles and negativity surrounding personal power are starting to lift, and a lot of the outdated paradigms, a lot of the paradigms about you don't rock the boat, it's better to be meek and mild, don't upset the status quo, all this kind of thing. And other things like, it's better to fit in with everyone and compromise yourself. than it is to perhaps go out on a limb a little bit, take a little bit of a risk, and try and find your own authenticity, along with finding your own community that you can be a part of and contribute to. So, we want to be. This is going to be an oracle about hints and tips on how we can be in our authenticity, our centeredness, and our higher self power. Okay, how can we step into our higher self and start to feel the empowerment aspect of it? But then the reason for the power there is to assist the authenticity and the centeredness and the higher self to come forth, to be able to share what it has to offer. Okay, that's the power. Okay. Now let's cut these. So I interrupted myself before. Spirit, thank you in advance for assisting us. I'd like to just call in my Sirian guides, any archangels, ascended masters, other light beings from any other galactic collectives. We really appreciate any hints and tips that you can offer us, and we'll just see how these cards interact here. Thank you in advance, and once again, just saying that if something that I say doesn't resonate, don't take it on. If something does resonate and you want to explore it, fine, that's all great. But if something doesn't resonate, don't put yourself under pressure to think that it has to, okay? Because we're all so different, and we all just really need to be mindful of that. Okay, let's just look at these cards first, and then we will now this is always an issue. I've just got to drag this a little bit closer just so we can get a bit of a better picture now. Okay, Temple of Labi Lazuli, and that says Goddess of the Ancient Skies. I'm just going to show you the images first. Okay, so this is about a temple of Lapi Lazuli, which is a stone, and it's a very bright blue. So something that's dropping in at the moment is Spirit saying that a lot of what our higher self missions are about is about healing. Okay, and healing can take many different forms. Okay, it might even be just your vibration that has a healing effect on people. Okay, but but there might be some particular modality of healing that you're particularly drawn to, that you might have special gifts in, and special sensitivities, and even special ways of perceiving that you can utilize in terms of healing. And it will be something that will, whatever the modality is, you will feel authentic, centered, and you will feel like a spirit connection. Okay, you feel more aligned, and you'll feel even more centered within yourself. You feel more calm and relaxed. Okay, and that is like power, because you are coming from your center. Okay, in alignment with your higher purpose. This is just sort of prompting me to talk about healing. Okay, this card, we might come back to this one. Now let's look at this one. Okay, Vulcan. I think either a Norse or a Greek god. Sorry, I'm not super knowledgeable about all these, but inventiveness. So that is also creativity, thinking about new ways. So your power might become manifest through something that you haven't done before necessarily. Okay, this is about exploration, being inventive, thinking outside the box, not doing the norm or what the majority is doing. So your special power, or the way you become authentic or centered, might have a lot to do with perhaps either becoming more creative in how you look at things and explore things, and perhaps being open to different things that you haven't been open to before. So this is really like a bit of adventurous as well, because if you're inventive, okay, you're coming up with new ways and new things and new ways of doing things. And this is what Spirit's also saying, that in the future, when people step into their empowerment, there's going to be a lot of wow magic moments happening, where people are like, that's so awesome how that person's coming, that's all coming together, and they're actually really helping people. Okay, so it's not just about doing something that's always been done before in the past. Okay. So the healing may pertain to the planet, it might pertain to people, and it might pertain to animals, it might pertain to like a really broad collective, or an overall attitude, or like a big scale thing. Okay, let's look at so like Spirit is saying, there's a multitude of different ways in which people can manifest their higher self by offering their special authenticity, their gifts and their centeredness and their higher self to the purpose of healing. Okay, which is literally mending the damage. But it's not only mending or sewing up the damage, it's really trying to get into the magic that's actually there, that our consciousness has become blocked off to. Okay, so this is what authenticity is really about: throwing off the blindfolds and the shackles and getting back to the inner essence and the inner light. Okay, now this is weight. Okay, it says it's not time yet, things are being woven. So Spirit's actually saying to people with this one is that it's about patience. Okay, so it might not be, your authentic, powerful self might not be something that's just going to drop from the sky and you'll go, oh, that's it. Okay, there may be a process of evolution happening within you. Okay, so it's important to sort of wait, explore things that interest you, keep building. Okay, and things are being woven. So it's saying it's a process of weaving. It's an ongoing, if you like the metaphor, it's like this beautiful tapestry rug that is being created. Okay, and once it's finished, right, it's going to have a really powerful effect. It will be a magic carpet, literally, because it's basically your life that you've been weaving ever since you were born, even from previous incarnations, and it's going to be something awesome. Okay. And a lot of us are, Spirit's saying, a lot of us are starseeds that have dropped down here at this particular time, because we are actually, a lot of us are powerful healers, and we have special gifts to offer. We just need to reawaken to them. Okay, that's what this whole process is about. And it's about not forcing and not being harsh on yourself. It's about being gentle and just waiting for things to fall into place. Okay, but of course we don't sit on the couch and just wait. It's like, by waiting, they're saying patience. So keep taking little steps, but just be patient with yourself and be gentle. Okay, your power, you will step into it. Okay, if you keep loving and caring for yourself. Okay, now this one has come up before, the 9 of bows, and that says respect. Now 9 is actually a number of helping and healing, and bows is actually the suit that is closely matched with the wands, okay, in the normal tarot. So that is the suit of like spirit, of spiritual life, okay, and respect. So it's really saying that we need to start respecting our spiritual aspect, because our spiritual aspect is a big part of the higher self and that power that you're going to be delivering and sharing with everyone through your purpose, okay? So we really need to start respecting our soul, our spirit, and also it's sort of alluding to respecting that there are higher frequency beings that are here to assist, that can help you to shift frequency, okay? There may even be some, there are obviously some humans that are quite high frequency as well, and it can be useful to listen to them as well and hear them speak and see what they have to say. But just in your meditations, get into deep relaxation, respect that center of yourself, your inner, okay? Because as soon as we hit that deep peace, that's when we start to feel that connection with spirit, okay? And it's really about respecting that. Because if we can't do that, basically we're just left flying around, focusing our attention on all the externals, and we don't never really tap into our own inner power, because we're just really trying to meet the demands of everything else out there. We're not actually, what we need to be doing is balancing. Obviously we have to deal with externals, but we need to be making the internal very strong, okay? And we need to maybe sometimes set some little boundaries to go, hey, those millions of externals that want my attention out there, actually this time they're not going to get it, because at the moment, because I'm this particular time, I'm cultivating my self-respect and my spiritual aspect so that I can start to manifest my authentic, centered and high self-power. Because no one else outside of you is going to tell you what that is for you, okay? It needs to come from within. Hints and tips on how we can allow this to come forth from within us. And obviously the experiences that we have throughout life help us to find out what that is, okay? But you need to pay really close attention to your own inner compass, okay? What things ignite you, what things are you passionate about, what things are you concerned about, what things do you find it easy to talk about, what things do you find yourself doing a lot in your spare time, okay? What types of movies are you attracted to, what kind of music do you like, there's all this, what kind of people do you like to hang out with, there's all of these sorts of things that we can use to find out what our authenticity is, okay? Let's look at the next stack, which was this here, literally. Wow, that's a powerful looking card. I actually haven't seen that one for a long time. Proper burial for freedom. Wow. Sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead. Okay. This is actually a metaphor. I believe that's Osiris here. This could be Isis, I'm not sure. Oh no, this is the sarcophagus of a dead. Obviously, it's a dead person in there. But here is Osiris with an ankh, and that looks like some sort of incense. Osiris was the partner of Isis, who went through soul retrieval. Okay. Now, proper burial for freedom. What that means, so what Spirit is actually saying here, is that in some ways, if we're stepping into our higher power, we have to slowly over time put to sleep, or put to sleep all of the outdated lower vibrational frequency mindsets, habits, behaviors that we were previously engaged with. Okay, we need to be, if we want to get authentic, okay, we have to try and evolve ourselves out of dramas. Okay, We have to learn how to deeply relax, come into our center. We have to learn how to reap the benefits of being in a natural high frequency environment. We have to learn how to look after our energy body. Okay, and we also have to still cultivate compassion for others. But more than anything, we have to learn, basically, we want to put self-sabotage to rest. We want to bury self-sabotage, because that's the only way that you're going to get to freedom and higher self-authenticity, is if the self-sabotaging stops over time. And that is not an easy thing. Okay? That is not something you do overnight. But every time you tap in and you become aware of when you're self-sabotaging, okay, and you make a note of that, okay, that's one small step towards freedom. It's a small step towards your authentic, centered, higher self-power. Okay? Because your higher self-power is not necessarily going to be something that someone says, now you have it, you are now endowed, or you've got this particular qualification, therefore you are now higher self-empowered. Okay? It's actually, the freedom is all about loving yourself as much as you can and being your own best friend in mind, body and spirit. It's about becoming one, becoming whole. That's where freedom is. Okay. Sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead. So Osiris is acting like a caretaker there, caretaker of the soul. So if you'd like to envisage for a minute, just thinking in terms of, if this is your higher self here and this is you, okay, your higher self is actually your caretaker. Your higher self is your authentic self, and it is centered and aligned with the highest good of all. Okay, and it is actually a lot more powerful than you realize. So this connection here between you and your higher self is what Spirit's saying that we need to cultivate. Okay, this is an awesome image. Thank you, Spirit, for putting that in there. It's just beautiful. And the other thing as well is that we have this beautiful orange on this side and the blue here. That's also alluding to divine feminine and divine masculine, I believe. It's also alluding to matter and spirit. Okay? Earth and heaven, or body and mind even. Okay? These they seem to be opposites, but they're actually points of unification. So your higher self is that unifying point, and that when that becomes all together as one, that is authentic, centered, high self power. Okay. And you will sense shifts in yourself over time, when sometimes little pennies drop and you go, oh, I feel a little bit more centered in myself now, or I feel a little bit stronger, or and sometimes there might be a period of time where one minute you're high frequency and maybe the next day you're kind of a bit low frequency, or there are certain conditions where it's quite easy for you to drop your frequency. Okay, once you have more high self-power, you're able to just hold yourself, care for yourself, and just put yourself in a high frequency environment, or listen to some music, or just do some beautiful self-talk, self-nurturing. Okay, and you'll be able to shift your frequency, or even pray, appeal to spirit, do a centering meditation. There's so many things, okay, that you can do. That is an awesome image. I really like it. Oh my god, can you see how these two are just awesome? See, we have there's two polarities here, which is mind, body, or we have matter and spirit. And here, this word here is Vishnu, Hindu god figure, balance. That is just fantastic. And look at the blue here as well. Wow. It's also talking about blue avian, and I'm actually wearing blue at the moment, which is just snap. And that is just awesome. So here again, Spirit's saying to become authentic and centered, try to have a good work-life balance, okay? Balance your, balance your sedentary with active stuff, balance your feminine with masculine type activities, balance your, it's just, balancing everything. If you spend a lot of time indoors, balance that with a lot of outdoors time as well. Okay. And Spirit's saying it's just the way that we move into our authentic, centered, higher self power is through a continual process of, it's like exploration, realignment, balancing. Okay? Exploration, activity, realignment, integration, and rebalance. So everything, as time goes on, is just a process of tweaking and balancing, okay, over time. That's what we need to keep doing, okay, because sometimes it's not easy to get a fantastic work-life balance off the bat, okay. There might be little things that you can start to do to improve the situation. Sit with that for a while, and then down the track you might go, well, actually, I feel like I could do this now to create even more balance. Okay, and even with the diet, like with eating and drinking as well. If you eat a lot of junk food, okay, maybe cut that in half and eat a lot of healthy food as well. So balance healthy and unhealthy to start with, okay, and then as time goes on, it might become more a shift of about, I think I want to have half raw food and then half cooked food, or there might be other things that you want to pull into balance. But that is definitely a higher self mechanism. Your higher self knows what you need. Okay, it knows that you need to be gentle and kind on yourself as well in this whole process. So basically, your higher self here is beautifully balanced and in alignment. Okay, it's always seeking alignment, calm, peace, unconditional love. Okay, that's what it's seeking for you within. So for you to have that kind of relationship going on between your mind and your body, for instance, okay, is really good for your own highest good and for the highest good of all as well. Because the other thing too is once we start rebalancing, we start to raise our frequency, and that's what we want. We want to be raising our frequency, because collectively, when everyone raises their frequency, awesome things can happen. Now, oh wow, Star Keepers. I've got chills because I haven't actually seen this card before, really. Cosmic Ancestor, see the light by staying grounded. Oh my God, Spirit, this is just awesome. And that is another key thing here for balance, is if you do a lot of spiritual stuff, okay, balance that with some grounding work, okay. Go out in nature, walk on the earth, do some gardening, or do some, lower chakra meditations, which are really grounding. This is just awesome. And look, this is also another image that you could sort of, you might want to sketch this or something, but it's almost like the person inside their Merkaba, which is their light body, they are being, they're light activated, so they're becoming beings of light. Okay, and that's what we're doing, and that's what the process of healing is going to be encouraging us towards, that, to become more light-filled, okay? Because really, if something is fully light, is perfectly healed. Okay? Light is the highest vibration, and unconditional love. Yeah. So, the light of unconditional love is what we want to start cultivating. Now, it's interesting, this card here, but we have another card. It's almost about death again. It says Seven of Vessels and mourning, which is, like a sadness, not as in morning, the sun coming up, the other morning. Okay. Now this one here is actually a card about a burial. Okay. Now this can actually be symbolic of letting go of an outdated way of being. Okay. That obviously the ego is going to be a little bit sad or a little bit grieved to let go of. Okay, but what this is, what we're talking about here, is the higher self ego axis. And the other thing is that on that topic is Carl Jung, who's amazing. He actually spoke about this kind of stuff a long time back, a few hundred years ago. So what we want in the balance is we want to balance the higher self and the ego. Okay, so the ego is kind of crying because the higher self is actually coming forth now. Okay, but the balancing mechanism has started. The ego is going to be called out in the name of authenticity to stop creating pain, because as we know, the ego likes to be in pain. Okay, there is a good part of ego. Okay, there's positive ego and negative ego, I'm going to go so far as to say now. Okay, negative ego is that one that really likes to latch onto the familiar and really just perpetuates the negative painful cycles. Okay, positive ego is that part of us that's that has our kind of personality. So it's like, are we an outgoing personality? Do we have, can we express ourselves? Are we passionate, or are we deeply concerned? Are we a caring person? Like all of that sort of stuff. Are we softly spoken, and do we like to whatever it is? Okay. So positive and negative ego. Negative ego is not going to be so useful anymore. And if we're going to be stepping into our higher self-authenticity, we need to let go of some of that negative ego stuff. Okay, and you can actually appeal to Vishnu to help with balance, okay, spiritually, and even Osiris as well, if you're going through a change process such as this. Okay, this is a change process, and this is just awesome because it's Star Keepers, and this is also saying that, cosmic ancestor is talking about past lives, and also that you have spiritual assistance, but also past lives, and you have loved ones who've passed on who are in cosmic realms in high frequency. Okay, cosmic ancestor, which is awesome. See the light by staying grounded, which is just awesome, and that is also really healing, and that will definitely help us to, if we can stay grounded as much as possible, that will definitely help us to allow this authentic, centered and higher self-power to come forth. Okay, these are really powerful cards, and whenever you see a death type of thing, it can be about letting go of things slowly over time. We don't want it to be like, oh, I've got to let go and go into full-on grief. That's not what we're saying here. It's really just about there might be a little bit of sadness involved in letting go of things that we're used to, that we can't necessarily cling on to anymore in terms of our comforts. Okay, this can actually mean letting go of addictions. Spirit's just saying as well. Okay, so if you're letting go of an addiction, of course there's going to be some pain involved with that, emotional pain, right? I'm not saying you have to go cold turkey, but if you keep thinking of appealing to Vishnu to get just keep balancing out, keep balancing, okay? that will really assist. And this is just awesome. I really love that. Right, that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, thank you, Spirit. And yeah, so hopefully that's given you some hints and tips on how you can step into and become a little bit more open to your authentic, centered and high self-power. And don't forget, the inventiveness here, this one, and also being patient and just waiting when you need to, respecting your spiritual aspect, okay, really important. Yeah, all of that stuff, and also that, healing, lapi lazuli, higher frequency, energetic, subtle energies, okay, you may start to become more aware of as part of your healing process, and definitely worth exploring that too. Okay, thank you for listening, and I'll check you later.